Well, a very warm welcome to everyone listening to our very first Ask ZBC episode. Here on this new series from Zion Bible Church, we'll be giving biblical answers to questions submitted from our church body that more often than not, other people are probably wondering as well. Sometimes we have questions that aren't always the types of things that find their way into sermons, challenging and unique questions. And if you're the type of person that has a lot of those throughout the week, then we encourage you to get on zionbible.com/ask and ask those questions, because it's more than likely someone else has wondered about those same things as well. And here on our first episode, we're going to keep it short and practical with a question on taming the tongue. The question says, I find that sometimes I struggle with my tongue. Sometimes it's my joking that hurts a friend, or an admonishment that isn't delivered well, or even venting to a trusted friend that errs on the side of gossip. Do you have advice for a biblical thought process I can implement into my life before I speak? Thank you.
Well, the easiest way to start out answering that question is to say welcome to the club, because I think everyone struggles with that notion. The idea of controlling the tongue. In fact, James 3 verse 2 says, "For we all stumble in many ways, and if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he's a perfect man, able also to bridle his whole body." It goes on to say in verse 7, "For every kind of beast and bird and reptile and sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison." So James doesn't have a lot of great things to say about the tongue. In Proverbs chapter 13, turn there real quick. It says that from the fruit of the mouth a man eats what is good, but the desire of the treacherous is for violence. Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. So the Proverbs also says that in a multitude of words, sin is going to be present. So the more you speak, the more likely it is that you are going to say something that offends someone. You're going to say something that hurts someone. Or maybe you find yourself gossiping and you're just trying to vent, right? Well, I think that having good friends, that Proverbs also says that as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens the countenance of his friend. So obviously having friends that can hold you accountable, that can say, hey, this is getting gossipy. Giving your friends permission to correct you. Hey, if I start saying something and it sounds a little bit like I'm being a little cruel or I'm speaking ill of this person, you really don't need to hear that, then please let me know, right? So I did this, as far as a thought process, the Bible seems to just say the less you talk, the better. But I would say that I can give one example in my own life, and that would be that I had a problem lying when I was just out of high school. I kept saying these white lies, just these added things to stories to make them sound more impressive or something. They weren't full-on lies. They were just maybe like changes in the narrative to make whatever I was saying sound more epic. And I had to learn to stop. When I did it, I would get convicted, and I would stop and say, wait, okay, no, it wasn't this long. I actually ran this long or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop myself and correct myself. So you may find that in the middle of one practice you could get into is, let's say you say a joke or you make a comment and it doesn't land. It looks like it may have offended someone. Then you just stop and say, you know what? That was crass. I apologize. Will you forgive me for that? That was just totally uncalled for. It's okay to do that. That way you're not guessing, and it'll actually make you, the more you correct yourself, the easier it actually gets to actually make the correction before you say it. So you're sort of training yourself in that way. That would be the only advice I would give. It's a great question, and we've all been there. So thanks for asking it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer, Sam. I know that myself and the listeners are going to be edified by that. And I really want to highlight that concept of having accountability, friends and family that know that not only is it okay, but it's a good thing to correct one another, to keep us from sin. That is going to be huge, not only in taming the tongue, but also so many other sin struggles in our lives. So really appreciate that. And remember, if you guys have a question you would like to ask, just go to zionbible.com/ask. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.